Pregame.com.
One of these days, they're going to videotape what's being said between RJ and the bunch before we come on the air. It's going to be a lot more interesting, I'll tell you that much. Sixers in Boston. This is Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, so to speak, as Philadelphia travels to Mass to take on the Celtics. The line 5.5, 171. You know, I was reading about a writer who said, VR, sometimes there is beauty in the ugly. And Philadelphia hopes that continues for at least one more game so they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Surprisingly, this series has taken a sequence of wins and losses that's been a rarity. I went back and I tried to find past series that have gone this way. And in the quarterfinal round, only 3 times since it's gone to this format has the series progressed this way going into a Game 7. And 2 of the 3 times the home team did win Game 7. And if you look at all the playoff series combined, first round, second round, quarters, finals, semis, all together, only 8 times has a series progressed this way. In that spot, the home team 6-2. So going into this final game, Sixers have been able to make it an ugly fight, kind of like dirty boxing in MMA, and just hang around, get it done. But historical probability suggests they will not advance. But this line's 5.5, and these two have played some pretty tight games throughout this series.
Well, I like Boston, and I'll explain as we go on in this game. I don't believe Philly's going to be able to get it done in just the ugly manner that they have. There's a couple of reasons for it. First of all, let's get back to why they're here. I mean, let's call it like it is. Philly's here because of a fluke injury to Derrick Rose, and of course a later injury to Noah. But if Rose is around, then they've probably already advanced past the Boston Celtics.
But it's a free roll for them. Don't you think they have no pressure on them at all?
Well, to a certain extent, because I think there might be pressure now. I think once you get to this point and you feel like you should win, I know they feel like they should win, whether anybody else does or not. So there is that added pressure to it. But here's what I think, why I think Boston gets it done. First of all, this is only the second time in this series where this aging veteran team has had 2 days off between games.
Good point.
Last time it happened, I was on Boston in that one. They won 101-85 a couple of games ago, and it was total domination over the final 48 minutes the final 24 minutes by the Boston Celtics. They were not worn out in the second half. They were able to do what they do best, work the ball around, get their shooters the ball. Rondo had a huge game, 14-3 assists to turnovers. What I also liked is that Garnett, Rondo, and a younger guy, Bass, they couldn't miss from the field. And Philly couldn't do anything with their roughhouse tactics to stop this team when they were well rested. And we know what Doc Rivers does. To me, one of the top 5 coaches in the NBA. What he does is basically shut him down for a day when he's got 2 days off in the playoffs, practice the next day, and then come out and play with your legs under him.
Based on the fact that they have no bench at all, is that why you think they do this? Because when you look at their bench, you have Petrus, Dooling, Hollins. That's about it.
Right.
And not too many of them get a lot of minutes unless someone gets in foul trouble. When you look at Philly, not only are they a top 5 defensive team in pretty much every category, but you see their bench players, a lot of them, they play as many minutes as the starters do. So they're able to keep a lot of fresh guys in there.
Sure.
So I was looking at possibly some value on this under, because I know throughout the series, bettors were betting the over, and even in this last game, I was able to cash with the under, but a lot of money came pouring in on that over. Now, Game 7, the line's adjusted a little bit, opened 171.5, obviously took some sharp money on the under right away. It's now at that number of 170. From what I know about playoffs and recreational bettors entering the marketplace, when they see totals of 170, 169, 168, they're going to bet the over. Not too many recreational bettors want a ticket at 170 because it's one of those instances where you could be dead 2 minutes into the fourth quarter.
Right.
So with
there's
the
too
over,
much that can happen if the officials have a loose whistle, so to speak. And
fouls, overtime, all that stuff. So I think the odds makers knowing that, they definitely put out the total a bit inflated. Wise guys saw it that way, went under. I think when the public gets involved, they may push this total back up a little bit. And I think we may find some value on the under. You were saying before we went on camera, when it gets to a final game, you kind of
Sixes and sevens. Yeah, 6s and 7s in the playoffs. You really got to find me something juicy to get me to play an over. And in fact, I hardly ever do. I'll either play the under or I will maybe leave it alone. There are, once in a while, there will be a situation where I'll jump on that over, but it's going to take a lot for me to do that. But
you think the Celtics stretch it out at the end of the game with foul shots to cover the number, or does it turn ugly and blow it out?
I think they're going to have, I really do believe that in the fourth quarter, over the final 6 minutes, you're going to see them being, it's not like Philly can't catch them from behind and cover the spread, but I really think it's going to be a 10 to 14 point game the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. But also if it isn't, if it's around 7 or 8 points, it hurts that under because Philly's not going to give up in a game 7. They're going to be hacking away, sending them to the foul line. That's the one caveat with playing this. But again, I'm with you. I'll take the under before I'll take it over in game 6s and 7, especially a hotly contested series like this one. Boston 8-2-1 against the spread off a straight-up loss. Philly's only covered 5 of the last 16 on the road against a team with a home win percentage of .600 or better. Hey, great job by Doug Collins and for his players to buy into what they got going, but I'm going to bet Boston minus the points in this game on Saturday. VR and I are back on Sunday. Western Conference Finals Game 1. That's going to be a fun one. Be sure to come right back here to pregame.tv.